What would you do if you heard a scratching at your door late at night? Maybe you'd think it was a stray cat, or the wind playing tricks. But what if you opened that door and saw something so strange, so terrifying, that it defied everything you thought you knew? That's exactly what happened in the small town of Enfield, Illinois, in 1973. And this isn't just a ghost story or campfire tale. This is a true account of what locals called the Enfield Monster, the night it all began. It was a quiet spring evening in April 1973 when a young boy named Greg Garrett decided to play outside. The time was 9 p.m., the stars were out, and Greg was chasing fireflies in his backyard. Everything seemed normal until it wasn't. Out of nowhere, he came face to face with something that couldn't have been from this earth. Greg described it as 4 or 5 feet tall, with tiny arms that ended in claws, a gray, slimy body, 3 legs, and these massive glowing red eyes that lit up the dark like flashlights. The creature didn't just scare him, it stepped on his feet, shredding his tennis shoes before disappearing into the shadows. Terrified, Greg ran inside to his parents, tears streaming down his face as he tried to explain what had just happened. His parents were skeptical. Monsters weren't real, right? But soon, Greg wouldn't be the only one to see it. At almost the exact same time, just a few doors down, Henry McDaniel and his wife were pulling into their driveway after a long day. They walked into chaos. Their 2 children were panicked, claiming that something had tried to break into the house. It scratched at the door and even clawed at the window air conditioner. McDaniel was trying to calm them down when he heard it, scratching. Something was at the door. He grabbed a flashlight and his pistol, expecting maybe a stray dog or raccoon. But when he opened the door, he froze. There it was. The creature stood between 2 rose bushes, staring back at him with those same glowing red eyes. McDaniel later described it as having 3 legs, a short body, 2 tiny arms, and grayish skin. It was like nothing he had ever seen before. Terrified but determined, he fired his gun. He was sure he hit it, but instead of falling, the creature let out a hiss, a sound he compared to a wildcat. And then, in just 3 leaps, it covered 75 feet and vanished into the darkness near the railroad tracks. Evidence left behind. When the police arrived, they didn't find the creature, but they did find something just as unsettling. There were deep scratches on the siding of the house and strange footprints in the dirt. These weren't ordinary tracks. They were about 4 inches wide, with 6 toe pads, and looked almost like a dog's butt off. The authorities couldn't explain it, but they did note that McDaniel seemed rational and sober. Whatever he saw, he truly believed it. Word spread quickly, and before long, Enfield was overrun with reporters, monster hunters, and curious onlookers. One group of armed men even claimed they had seen the creature in the woods and fired at it, though they missed. Others reported hearing strange, otherworldly cries near the railroad tracks at night. One particularly strange account came from Rick Rainbow, a radio news director. He and 3 others claimed to see the creature near an abandoned house close to McDaniel's property. They described it as gray, about 5 feet tall and stooped over. Rainbow even recorded its eerie cries, though the tape was never released to the public. With all the attention, the town became a circus. The sheriff eventually threatened to arrest Henry McDaniel if he didn't stop talking about what he saw, hoping to calm things down. But the mystery was far from over. So, what was the Enfield Monster? Over the years, people have tried to explain it. Some suggested it was a kangaroo, maybe one that escaped from a zoo or someone's exotic pet collection. After all, kangaroos use their tails for balance, which could look like a 3rd leg. But McDaniel wasn't buying it. He'd owned a kangaroo while stationed in Australia, and he insisted this creature was nothing like one. Others thought it might have been a wild ape, as similar creatures had been reported along the Mississippi River since the 1940s. And then, of course, there were those who believed it was something extraterrestrial, something not of this world. In 1978, researchers at Western Illinois University looked into the case, calling it a perfect example of social contagion. Their findings suggested that only 3 people had actually seen the creature firsthand, but rumors and media coverage had turned those accounts into a full-blown monster epidemic. Still, there are questions that no one has been able to answer. If it was a hoax, how did the witnesses, who didn't compare stories beforehand, all describe the same creature? And what about the footprints and scratches? Whatever the Enfield Monster was, it hasn't been seen since 1973. It's as if it leaped over those railroad tracks and never came back. But even now, more than 50 years later, the story still haunts the town of Enfield. Maybe it was an animal that science hasn't identified yet. Maybe it was a prank that spiraled out of control. Or maybe, just maybe, it was something we're not meant to understand. So, what do you think? Was the Enfield Monster just people overreacting, or do you believe something truly strange happened in that small town? Share your thoughts in the comments below. We'd love to hear what you think. And if you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like this video, hit that subscribe button, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss a story here on Carnival TV. We've got more creepy mysteries, paranormal encounters, and unbelievable true crime stories coming your way. Because remember, sometimes the scariest things aren't the ones we can explain. Until next time, take care and stay curious. Peace out.